Good evening and warm welcome to the Mr. Arsenal podcast. It's transfer deadline day. We've roughly got an hour and 22 minutes left till the transfer door finally goes shut. All them rumours will then go away and we can finally concentrate solely on the football. Firstly, before we go into discuss some of the transfers today, let's go and give a warm welcome to our special guest for the next 2 hours. So firstly, I'll go to Catherine. Good afternoon, Catherine. How are you?
Afternoon. It's fantastic. I've got the day off. It's a bank holiday, so relishing and not working, and I got bright sun and sunny skies or blue skies, however that saying goes.
Lovely. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde here. 1 minute it's sunny, next minute it's absolutely bucketing down. So I don't know what we're going to get here today. We might get the old Housestones again.
Oh, yeah, remember that last year.
If you know, if you know, you know. And on that note, a good evening to Ryan. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Look, cutting down the last couple of hours here. And say after this, we focus on the football for the next few months, for the next 4.5 months, 5 months. It starts in for another month, so yeah.
It'd be nice just to get back, get away from these transfers now, wouldn't it? And just concentrate solely on what we should be concentrating on, which is the beautiful game, or so-called beautiful game. And a good evening to George. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Bit tired today because I was at Wembley last night, so didn't get until 2 o'clock this morning. I had to go to work, which is a delightful place. If you know, you know, sort of thing.
You dirty old
but yeah, not too bad. I think I'm in the minority, mate. I really, really like the deadline day. I think it's funny because just like some of the stuff that happened, you think, why have they waited this long just to do it on deadline day? There's definitely some like PR and like acting around it, I think. But yeah, I do like it. But you see the pro and the con of it, don't you? Like you see when other teams do stuff, and then if whoever you're supporting that team doesn't do something when they've had a decent transfer window before, it can change a bit of the mood either one way or another, really. So I don't mind it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm personally on the belief, if I'm being honest, that we need to get to a situation where transfer deadline done before the start of the season. I just think it's a level playing field then, as such. But it's going to be.
I do agree with that. I just think, like as you see, some teams can, like you just for example, use a team towards the bottom if they had a bit of a dodgy start and they've got a bit of money, they could go out and buy 7 or 8 players that helps to keep them up, which I don't think's particularly that fair. I think like we all know when the season roundabout starts. I don't understand why first week of August can't be when the deadline's like when the transfer window shuts, because then everyone's like on the same level playing field. And if you end up getting off to a bad start, you get off to a bad start, mate. You know what I mean? You can't. I don't think it's really fair.
Well, I tell you what, it's interesting. I'm not going to start at the top of the league. I'm going to start with a team, funny enough, that are potentially going to get decimated in terms of transfer deadline day. A team that obviously lost one of their star players to us probably about a week ago. It looked like their captain and goal scorer of yesterday in their 3-0 victory at Aston Villa looked like Mark Guehi was about to stay at Crystal Palace for another season. I'm going to go chill on this first, Ryan. Obviously, it's broke out today that the 35 million plus, I guess, add-ons for Mark Guehi, Liverpool were bidding. What's your kind of thoughts on it, firstly? And this could put a bit of a fracture between chairman, couldn't it, at Crystal Palace due to losing such on the last day of the window.
Well, in terms of the last bit we mentioned there about the man between Glasnow and Paris, it will do, because ideally the manager Glasnow would have wanted this dealt with before the season started, so he knows where he's there, and he can decide. Obviously, because Mark's the captain currently, he can go, right, you're my captain, start the season, X, Y, and Z, let's go. Obviously, the season started, and from what I'm hearing via Alan Pardew on Sky, when it all broke early, about an hour ago, Palace in general are fuming with Liverpool over this, because there was interest, but from what they believe up till literally today, they believed the interest was just interest. There was no the offer, never came in, no nothing. And then Liverpool just turned up this morning and went, "Here's a price, yay or nay," basically. And basically trying to fault, and obviously gave Mark the heads up, and he's begged them to basically accept the offer if they can get his replacement in. But they've then accepted the offer before they got the replacement. That's all kicking off. So it could even fall through in one sense, but if it doesn't, and they don't get the replacement, I said obviously after losing as last week to us, this could be a long season for Palace in general. They've lost their talisman up top in the attack, their talisman in defence, their leader, their inspirations, and they haven't really replaced them. If they've been brutally honest. There was rumours of Reece Nelson going on loan, but that's now going to fall through. I think he's going to Brentford now on loan, with an option to buy. And Glasner might be thinking this ain't worth it. This really ain't worth it. After all the work he'd done last season, the amazing job he's done since he's come in at Palace, took over from Roy in the first place, and let's be honest, it is. He's hoping, obviously, he's probably hoping for decent. No matter what's going to go on beyond the scenes of UEFA, rebuild the squad, ready for European football on a Thursday and a Sunday rotation when it gets underway. And that hasn't even been done. The whole focus from Paris and the board's point of view was on UEFA. The transfer business has been pretty much neglected, and they've been in the space of 2 weeks. They've lost their two best players and not replaced them. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get a replacement in, that Glasner may walk in this international break, because he's begged publicly on UK TV that, as far as he's concerned, Mark's staying. I want him. We want him. He's told Paris at this point, do not accept any offers. And he's going to accept an offer because Mark wasn't, from the other side of things, Mark wasn't willing to sign a contract extension with a release clause to guarantee him leaving next summer. So that, as far as Paris was concerned, I'd rather take something than nothing.
Mm. It's quite interesting. Obviously, Crystal Palace are looking at centre backs. Igor Julio looked like he was going to be signing for them from loan on Brighton, but it looks like apparently West Ham have gazumped that deal, and there's concerns that he'll obviously get pinched late on to go there. JD Canvo, a 19-year-old Toulouse centre back, has now completed his Crystal Palace medical, and he's expected to be confirmed at a deal worth 20.8 million. So that's a big deal, but that kind of fits Crystal Palace's criteria in terms of going for the younger talent. And also Pavlovic, although they've been told that negotiations are not currently progressing at the moment. So at the moment, it looks like that potentially is the one deal that will definitely happen in terms of the Toulouse centre back. But it's a big risk, isn't it? Like, and I'm going to go to you on this, George. A 19-year-old Toulouse centre back who's very young as it is. Not played in the English game whatsoever. Surely he can't be just the only replacement for Gueye if he does go.
No, like you say, mate, it's a big risk. Like, it's very untested. Obviously, he's been playing regularly for Toulouse, but not playing for Toulouse. No offence, is probably a lot different than playing in the Premier League. I don't know. I don't agree. Glasner will walk. To be honest, because I don't think. I think it will affect the relationship between him and Paris. Like, I think people forget as well. They did buy Yerry Pina from Villarreal, and like that is such a typical Crystal Palace player that will probably, in about 3 or 4 years, probably get a bigger move onto a bigger club for a lot more money. Cause I really rate him. But defenders wise,
David Ornstein bomber in the last 2 minutes. Mark Gueye underwent medical ahead of proposed transfer from Palace to Liverpool, but move in jeopardy amid Palace issues in finding adequate replacement. Talks now between 25-year-old and manager Glasner to make final decision on the Liverpool switch. So Mark Gueye could fall through now.
Ooh,
You know what that sounds like?
That's one.
That almost sounds.
Sorry, go on.
So that's basically, if Palace don't find a replacement, he's not going. That's as simple. That's as
Basically,
black and white as it is.
Basically, yeah.
Which, you know what, respect Palace for that. Like, they would be like, it's such a hard one, mate, because you look at it from Parish's point of view. do you want Gay going on a free and you get nothing, or you get this money from Liverpool? Which, from that point of view, I get, but from the club's point of view, you obviously want to keep your best players or replace them. So it's a hard one. Like, I don't know. Like, I think a couple of the defenders they've got already would probably just settle in, but it's such a big hole. It's a hard one. I've spoke to a couple of Palace fans like online. Obviously, they don't want him to go, which is obvious, but I think they understand that that money is important as well. This is a hard one, but obviously, hopefully, for everyone's sake, that falls through. And because at the end of the day, like, I think if Palace keep the player, I know obviously they lost Eze to us, but if they can keep Guy, and obviously they've made a couple like younger players, there's no reason they can't persuade him to stay and say that, well, look, we're on the up. Because if you look, they battered who was it, Villa yesterday, right? And so there's no reason Palace can't break into that Europa League. Obviously, they should be there anyway, but like that 5th or 6th place, I honestly don't think there is.
It's an interesting one you've just said there, George. I'm going to go to Catherine on this because obviously he has won the FA Cup, he has won the Charity Shield, he's beaten arguably the two biggest teams in the Premier League over the last 5 to 6 years in Man City and Liverpool to win them trophies. They're on a crest of a wave. They've hit 7 points out of 9 already. They've gone away to Aston Villa and Chelsea, which, let's be honest, are not easy games to go and navigate. They're still unbeaten in the league. Surely, someone like Glasner deserves the money to actually strengthen the team, to be able to then push that league placing in terms of maybe getting like top 6 potentially, because I don't see there being a reason why they can't do it when they can go and beat the teams like Aston Villa, Man City, Liverpool, your Chelseas of this world. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a team that as over the course of the season has gone and beaten these teams on a pretty consistent basis. So surely that as a chairman, you'd expect to be backed and not lose all your players.
Yeah, I think what it almost seems like with them having Eze leave, having Mark Guay being up for sale, essentially, like, it almost sounds like they're trying to offload their players because they have financial problems, which to me doesn't make sense because, as far as I know, winning a competition, winning a trophy, you get some sort of reward out of it nowadays, whether that's from the sponsorship of the trophy or from the FA itself. Like, so I think not backing Glasner is a huge mistake from Palace because they have the attackers in Mateta and Sarr. Like, they showed yesterday even that they can play without Eze. Like, him not being backed is kind of like a big FU. It's kind of like we're going to give you the middle finger because you aren't in Europa. You aren't in Europa League. You're in the Conference League, which that's not Glasner's fault. That is upper management. That is not his doing. He probably would have preferred to be in Europa League, but that's not on him. But I have not seen any top signings coming into Palace. It's all outgoings for them. So you are getting rid of players, not bringing in players to replace them, even if they are okay players. Like, you're essentially setting him up for failure. So, like, to Ryan's point, could see him leaving. Maybe not now in this international window. Maybe if he doesn't get anything, and by January transfer window, if he still's not getting any backing or knows he won't be getting any backing, maybe he'll just be like, this isn't really the club for me, and we'll get a mid-season change. But it's all down. I think for Palace, it is all coming down to the board and not the manager. And I feel like Glasner has put out there, like, this is what I want, this is what we need, and the board is just like, but do you really need them?
I think the chairman's thinking of the money, isn't it? what is interesting, just to let you know as well, they are in the process of obviously signing an Eze replacement in Uche from Getafe for 20 million. And then another interesting one, Manor Solomon, bit of a journeyman now, isn't he? Was at Fulham, was at Spurs, and now he's looking to finalise the loan there as well. So they are strengthening in certain areas with their Conference League.
He was at Leeds as well, wasn't he?
I'm not
Last
sure.
season, last season
Yeah.
on loan, yeah.
Nah, yeah. So yeah, he's a bit of a journeyman. So that'd be an interesting one. Going to move on now to obviously another big signing, which is obviously brewing in the woodwork. Paris Saint-Germain's Donnarumma. Like, this one's amazing, isn't it? In terms of the transfer fee that he's going to go for, in terms of him moving to Manchester City. Now, this is a goalkeeper, Ryan, that was absolute world class last year. When I went to the Emirates for the semi-final against Arsenal, probably one of the best goalkeeping performances I've seen, and the second leg was no difference. This is an absolute snip, isn't it? That potentially Man City will be getting him for.
Yep, and then I know I backed Rams at the time in the whole Raya situation and all that, and I still have my doubts on Raya. But when the summer we went for Ramsdale, built Ramsdale inside, Donnarumma was available for free from AC Milan. When he decided to join PSG. Even I was saying back then, get him. He's big, he's tall, he's good at his job, he's young as well, he's got years in him. And obviously, he got and won a Champions League this year. And obviously, he's had mistakes. And let's not pretend he's perfect. He's had a few mistakes here and there at PSG, and even for his national team, once in a blue moon. But it's once in a blue moon. It's not like we've seen recently with our own goalkeeper. And I'm a bit annoyed because now, especially timing, because obviously after the international break, 2 weeks back after the international, we've got City, and he's going to be in goal now.
Yeah.
And okay, so you're making our job even harder. Fantastic. So from an Arsenal point of view, I'm thinking, oh, well, for match day 5, I'm thinking, oh, fantastic, yay. But let's be honest, he will be. He is the ideal upgrade in the ideal world for Ederson. Obviously, Ederson going out, it's obviously Fenerbahce or going to Turkey anyway. One of the two. That's right, Fenerbahce as we speak. But that's only to go ahead if they can get Donnarumma over the line quick enough. But say all this, but what does it say about James Trafford? It was on the verge of going to Newcastle, and then that fell through because obviously there was a first refusal buyback for Man City. They took the option. He played the first 3 games, and they haven't. Yeah, let's be honest. Last week didn't go well for him in terms of he made a mistake. It led to a goal, the game that killed it. Yesterday, from what I can remember, he can't really blame for the goals yesterday. He's just rotten luck, basically. His defence let him down. He's a young lad, and obviously he's thinking back at Man City because obviously he came from the academy at Man City, so he's got to be playing the Pep. I'm number 1. I've got a chance here. Within 3 match days, he's thinking, "Oh bollocks, I'm number 2 again." I've gone from number World Cup years as well. This was World Cup year as well. He's possibly thinking either which way. He wants to be on that playing to USA, the World Cup next year in USA, Mexico, and Canada. I don't see him going now. He's gonna be number 2. He'll play the cup games, and that'll be, if he's lucky, that'll be it. Unless Donnarumma has an injury, which is very unlikely from his time at PSG. But yeah, he is the ideal replacement upgrade to what they've had with Ederson. He's a bigger, taller frame, and not we saw in the semi-final. Like you say, in the semi-final, he used his frame. We just got to hope when we do play him, or play Man City side, we get the Donnarumma from the first PSG game in the league phase last year. If we can get that Donnarumma for our game, I'll be okay. We'll do whatever afterwards. But yeah, it's especially it's more interesting how it's come about as well, because this wasn't meant to be. This wasn't on anyone's radar. Started the summer window. This just came about out of nowhere in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, wasn't it rumored that he was going to go to United first, or that United wanted him?
United wanted him.
They'll pay his wages. I mean, he's currently on $210 a week. Like, Ederson is on 100. Donnarumma's on 210. Is he going to take a wage cut, or is City really going to splash the cash on not only getting him in but paying his wages?
Well, I think that's the case because as it stands, again, don't get into all that side of things fully, but we've still not got a verdict yet. So whilst they are publicly no verdict publicly and they're getting away with it, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing for the last 15 or so years that they've been accused of. Because as far as they're concerned, well, we're innocent. We're going to do it wrong. Plus, they don't want to fall off. There's a fear now. It's not just Liverpool that could pull away now. In terms of they don't back their ideas up this season and they have a repeat season like they did last season, sorry. That Arsenal and Liverpool could pull away from Man City. And it could be another long season for them.
There's some interesting comments here, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to agree with some of the comments like about Donnarumma. I think everyone's looking at it a bit different. I don't get it. Personally,
he's a good shot stopper. That's the main thing. He's a good shot stopper.
But he's not a City. But he's not a Guardiola or a City goalkeeper.
He's not. Yeah, he's not.
He is a United goalkeeper.
Well,
you think of how United have been
United.
wanting their goalkeepers to be. He is a United goalkeeper.
Yeah,
he can actually do maybe some work on set pieces, but he's the. He is. I think he would fit more of a United, but.
And I just think people have not really looked at what Man City else have done today. Like, so they've gone and perhaps bought Donnarumma, but then they have just offloaded quite a little bit of their wages after Turkey because İlkay Gundogan is gone to Galatasaray, so that's wages off again. Then Ederson, so that's wages again. So yeah, I mean, like they obviously, I don't think Donnarumma takes a wage cut. I think. I suppose who else is better for James Trafford to learn off of, but it's just a weird move for me. I think they've only done it because it's Donnarumma. I don't think Guardiola's really thought because Ederson was a ball playing goalkeeper. I don't see Donnarumma as that.
Or as Guardiola's done it because he knows his defence is not good. And do you know what I mean? He's now going to sacrifice that ball-playing goalkeeper because what he's saying is actually, because if you look at that last goal yesterday, they were at 6s and 7s at the back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. That's not James Trafford's fault whatsoever. And if anything, he kept him in the game. He kept him in the game prior, but maybe he's looking at this from a perspective actually at the moment, the way the defence is and the way Man City have performed over the last 6 months, that he just needs a goalkeeper in goal that he can rely on to stop shots. It's a strange one. It definitely is a strange one. It's an interesting one as well because I think people forget that Donnarumma is only 26 years of age himself.
Yeah, he's not even old, is he? Let's be honest.
Doesn't he have like 2 more years before like that prime goalkeeping age is like 2-3 more years and that's goalkeeper peak. Like.
I mean, he's playing for Milan at 17, wasn't he? I think that's what a lot of people forget. Like, 16, 17. So obviously he was there for a while. He went to PSG. Like you guys say, he's only 26. There's nothing to say he couldn't play another 2 or 3 years at Man City and then Real Madrid sign him or whoever. You know what I mean? He's still quite young.
I think like Real Madrid perspective, they're going to be hurting in the next 18 months.
Yeah,
because I mean, all they do is just wait for players to be available on free transfers.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a scene that we mentioned when we get onto Arsenal. I've seen something about Zinchenko, but yeah.
Is he left?
Zinchenko not leaving?
Basically, yeah. But gist of it is he's demanding high wages at Marseille.
I couldn't ever see him going Marseille anyway, though, because they bought Emerson, didn't they? Like Palmieri from West Ham, unless that's not gone through. So, but, I'm not really sure. But can you blame him? I wouldn't.
No, I kind of do when he goes out and he does all these little pieces, these little articles and all that. Going, oh, my daughter see people on the pitch thinking it's me. It really breaks my heart that it isn't me and all that. He's got opportunities to go elsewhere and get their minutes in, sit and make his daughter and be proud to see and have his daughter see him on the pitch. No, I sit on the bench and take the payday. It's like, well, you're not really bothered. You're not really bothered at minutes. Then, no, you're bothered about what your payday is.
looking at some of the comments, let's go into the chat now. Obviously, Gav saying, I think it's strange Donnarumma to Man City because Pep likes a ball-playing goalkeeper and Donnarumma isn't a ball-playing goalkeeper. Albrecht saying, I don't get a Donnarumma deal. He doesn't fit the Pep profile. He isn't good in his delivery by foot or by catching crosses. Gunnar Nick saying that AC Milan are in talks with Palace over Palace signing a centre-back from them, but AC Milan not likely to sell as they're looking for centre-backs. Jeff Dane saying, and Trafford made an awesome save for the second goal, which is what we discussed earlier on. BG Labs in, good evening, mate. How you doing? He's saying, was at PSG semi-final. Obviously, he said Donnarumma is a difference maker. End of day, goalkeeper first. Task is to elite shot stopping. Big signing. Andrew saying Donnarumma made mistakes in the league last year, but was awesome in the Champions League. BX Gunner saying if Courtois can be successful in the Prem, I think Donnarumma can get on well. So yeah, kind of a mixed reaction there. But in my own personal perspective, I think it's a world-class signing, if I'm being totally honest. Like, I see what he was capable of last year, and sometimes it's all about the big moments, isn't it? And I think if he wasn't in goal against Arsenal, especially in the first leg and at the start of the second leg, I think it could have been a totally different ball game between Arsenal and PSG and what that final result held like. So for me, it's a world-class signing. It's interesting that Pep's gone a little bit different, but I'd rather play a team without Donnarumma in than a team with Donnarumma in, if I'm being frankly honest. So I think it's a good signing.
Right, you said, Liam, maybe Guardiola's changing the way he's going to play, because obviously defensively he's not got that solidarity of Ruben Diaz, John Stones and Vardiel like week in, week out. So the back fours and like whatever people think of him, Kyle Walker when he played for Man City, they haven't got that. So maybe he's trying to set and the midfield. Like you look at that midfield, I think they played against Spurs. It was mad, mate. Like it was so completely different. So I'm just wondering if Guardiola's thinking, do you know what? I haven't got the players that I had before. I haven't got Kevin De Bruyne and all that. But defensively, all I need is to have a goalkeeper that can save the ball or be a bit more. Because let's be honest, I don't think anyone here is comparing James Trafford to Donnarumma on their day. So, and I think maybe that's a bigger picture that Guardiola's probably thinking, do you know what? My defence needs someone they can trust fully.
Yeah, I think so.
If you would trust Donnarumma, if Donnarumma, you're in that, say you're that centre half and you're playing and Donnarumma's behind you, like who would you trust more? You got Donnarumma or James Trafford, and that's nothing on Trafford. That is nothing on him, but it's different. Just the different levels for me.
Just an interest. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, fine.
Just quickly, a couple of interesting movements here. Graham Bailey's just come out and said Crystal Palace have now told Mark Guay that they may not be ready to sanction his exit after all, following issues finding a replacement. This comes just an hour after they allowed him to have his Liverpool medical. Interesting as well. That's breaking through. Gomez is not leaving Liverpool either, so it's a domino knock-on effect.
See, I think that's crazy. Like. I'm not in case I don't want them to be watching the podcast or nothing, but like if they desperately want Mark Gay, why have they not gone to Palace and say, well, we'll give you Gomez and we'll have Gay and Gay?
Yeah.
I don't. Surely that's obvious. Like
that would work.
Gomez was going. He was going to AC Milan, and then they pulled the plug on that. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. Like, ain't that obvious?
Yeah, that's not a bad shout, to be fair. That would probably... I suppose it all depends as well, don't it? Is that what... Let's be honest, Glasner don't want that. Glasner just wants Guay to stay at the club. So I guess it's a good shout, by the way. Not dismissing it whatsoever, but I think...
I wonder if they've even asked it. Like, I wonder if Liverpool have actually said...
I'm sure Liverpool have.
They must have done, surely.
Yeah.
When was the last time that there was a player swap, though, or anything in the realm of a player swap? Like the only time that I really see player swaps is in the virtual world of, FIFA FC 26, FC 25, and 4. Like that's the only time that I see a successful player swaps. But it's also just virtual world. Like you don't really see that nowadays. Like it's either like Liverpool want Guay, Palace want a replacement, but they probably don't think that Gomez is that great of a replacement for him.
Which they've got a point, like he ain't. But I just wondered, like, if both teams are trying, like, I think it more goes down that Palace don't really want to sell him as well. So, like, but I just think he's such a great player, Liam. Would you just not take the risk of if he goes on a free next season, he goes on a free? But if he gets you, like, putting it out there, what if he helps to get Palace towards the Champions League position?
Yeah.
Surely that covers it.
I mean, if you really want him, splash more cash. He's the captain. Make it a point where Palace are like, are we going to turn down 50 million for a player that's really worth 35? Which, like, splash more cash. This window has shown that Liverpool is not afraid to splash the cash. Like,
this is the thing, though, isn't it? Like, you look at Nottingham Forest last year; they nearly got into Champions League. There's no reason when you look at that Palace team and what they've achieved that they couldn't try and do the same and try and sniff around the Champions League with like 3-4 games to go. That's probably that. Then when you put it like that, George, you know what I mean? If you do get in there, then you're looking at a totally different fee, isn't you? Because you might lose Guayi for like 35, like for nothing, and lose that 35 million, but actually you're going to gain hundreds of million. Just on you getting into the Champions League alone. So,
if you realistically think, like, obviously we've watched the start of the season, and it's really hard to predict it. But take away the teams around the top 4, and if we get 5 positions, Palace are in there with a shot if they can keep all their players fit and the way they play. I think people sleep on how actually good Crystal Palace are when you've got people like Mateta, Sarr, Adam Walton. Like, I'm not saying before guys think that he's off his edge, like Palace and get Champions League, but why not? Like, if Nottingham Forest can do what they've done, I don't think that Palace team is that much different than the Nottingham Forest team, personally.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're and if you do get to that position, and then obviously Mark Gay goes on a free, but you're eating at a different table. Like, we've said it for the last couple of years about Arsenal. When you get to certain positions, you eat at different tables. Like, the other day, I think it was like so many years to the day that we signed Mustafi. Like, you compare that to what we have now. So I just think with Palace, it's like, but I think it all goes back down to backing the player, backing the club. And, like, realistically, it's deadline day today. Why have they not spent the Eze money?
Yeah, I think they have spent some of it. Like, they are buying a player in from Getafe, so I think they are spending some of it. But I think it'd be interesting to see how this last 50 minutes goes with them. I'm going to go off that radar a little bit and go on to another signing that's obviously probably the biggest of the transfer day window. It's been the saga that's been going on all summer. It's quite distasteful, the whole situation. If I'm a Newcastle fan, I would be seriously let down in terms of the players' behaviour. But it looks like Isak's getting his way. He's getting his move. He's going to be out of Newcastle. He's going to sign for Liverpool for a deal that's going to be worth over £130 million. I'm going to go to you on this first, Ryan. It's a big deal, isn't it? It's a big transfer day deal. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, the small team acts at Liverpool are trying to portray it at the moment in terms of them not being favourites, in terms of other Arsenal being favourites, has got to be dismissed surely with this Isak signing.
Even before, but this is what I'm saying. And I'll tell you after the game, I went out. My brother came back, and then literally about half hour after I got back, breaking news, and the bomb dropped. I was like, okay. And I was just like, yeah, well, there's no, as we said backstage before we went live, there's no excuse now for Liverpool now. There's no genuine. There's no excuse for Liverpool not to win this league. They must win this league. Last year we had Arsenal must. No, Liverpool must now. They must win the league. They must win the Champions League. They've got a squad. You've now got Ekitike. Ekitike must be thinking, okay, I'm second fiddle now, because even though they spent 80 to 90 million on him, there's no way you're spending over the money. 125 to 130 million pounds on Isak to bench him. So basically, Ikatike is now going to be the bench striker, basically. And yeah, it's like he's got his way. He's kicked off. He's kicked and screamed all the way to the bitter end, publicly, privately, you name it. He hasn't even been professional enough to train with his teammates from the get-go pre-season. This all stemmed from literally a game against Celtic that no one even heard about, and he wasn't in the match day squad, nothing. Then it then came out. Then he's training alone. He's got an injury. Then more bits come out, and it's just got more and more heightened. We lost him. We've got more and more heightened, and to the point where he felt the need, probably by his agent, to go public the way he did last week. And I think over the course of it, his agency, him himself as a person, not only a player, as a person, have acted appallingly. And even though Liverpool fans will be like, yeah, they'll be jumping for joy, in the back of your head, you must be, like, you're Liverpool, you're currently the champions tonight. In the back of your head, you must be thinking, by the way, irony of signing a 6-year contract, by the way, when this goes through, 6-year deal this year to Liverpool. They're going to be thinking in the back of their heads, he could do that. If Madrid, if he does hit it off, he does well and maintains his fitness, and his injuries stop. Madrid and Barca will come calling. The Bayern Munich will come calling. Then what? Because then, if he does, he'll do this. If he does this to Newcastle, he'll do this to Liverpool to get his move to the bigger clubs in Europe, the Bayern Munichs, the Madrids, the Barcas, and they'll be here. All these Liverpool fans have been going free Alexander, free Isak. They're going to be then sitting there going, he's a traitor, he's a scumbag. You weren't saying that when he was doing it for you, doing it to come to you. So swings and roundabouts, and I kind of hope, because of how he's behaved, I kind of hope he flops. I'll be honest, because of how he's behaved, I kind of hope he flops. You've seen Eze. Again, we talked about my guy who took Eze. How professional they've been. And in the entire summer, there've been links to the Tottenhams, the Arsenals, Liverpool, as we're hearing. And the entire time, both players turned up to training from day one in pre-season, did pre-season, act professional, didn't kick off, played games as well in pre-season, played games in the Community Shield, played in the Premier League, never kicked off, never went public, all behind closed doors. And they got their moves. Well, Eze has got obviously marked up in the air at the moment with what 45 minutes to go. And yeah, Isak, the likes of Isak and your Weslers are here kicking off, acting like absolute knobheads.
What's your thoughts on Gav's comment?
No, Arsenal are still the favourites. Yeah, for the title, because your squad has been together long. Of course, yeah. Because I forgot your most other Gav. Sorry.
Just gonna go to you, Catherine, on it. Like, it's going to be an interesting situation for Slot now, isn't it? Because obviously he's got his two top strikers, and to be fair, there are two top strikers. How do you think he operates now with these two? Do you think it's a rotational system? Do you think he changes his formation slightly?
God, I don't see Isak and Ekitike playing at the same time. I don't see them playing on the field at the same time. And I think, kind of thinking to, that striker role or the attacking role, Liverpool, they did kind of have two holes to fill, but it was in what I was seeing, you need to to upgrade the striker. You do need that world class striker, which you can get in Isak, which seems like it's a done deal at this point. But then you would need someone that could grow and learn. Ekitike he's shown in the past, or in the first two games, he's the first Liverpool player ever, or it's been 25 plus years, that has scored at least one goal in his first two Premier League matches. I think Isak coming in is going to completely hinder that. He's going to maybe see some game time in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, group stages, round stages, whatever the hell you want to call them. he's going to maybe see some game time as the starter against the pot 4 players or the pot 4 teams in the Champions League. I think Slot is going to be like, well, we just spent 130 mil on Isak, so we need to be starting him. We need to be playing him. He's Premier League proven, but he's also like hella injury prone. But it's like you gotta, we just splashed the cash on this. We can't not play him. I think I had said it, 2 weeks ago when, or whatever match day 1. It's like if you bring in Isak, you're going to hinder Ekitike in what he is showing he can actually do. So Slot, he's not going to be changing his formation. He's not going to play with 2 strikers on the pitch. I don't see either one of them pushing out to left wing because we know that no one's going to be taking Salah's spot. It's I don't know. I think Liverpool messed this up. I think they needed to go for one striker that is, either Ekitike or Isak, and then either go through the academy and hopefully you have an academy player that is ready to be in the Prem that could kind of fill in that spot. But I think they overspent on their attackers. And if I was a Liverpool player right now and it was just announced that Alexander Isak is going to be signing for my club, I would be like, can you put me in for a late transfer? Because I don't want to be dealing with this asshole. Because the way that he's behaved throughout this entire saga, as Ryan had said, not playing during preseason, refusing to play during the league, like that to me is super toxic behavior. And oh, well, I'm not getting my way, I'm going to throw a hissy fit until I get my way. That's not the way to behave. To me, that's saying, oh, if Real Madrid come calling, or over the next 3 years, if PSG end up being the dominant, oh, PSG is calling and they're gonna pay me more. They want me. I'm just gonna say I don't want to play for Liverpool anymore. I'm gonna say I'm gonna sit on the bench. You're gonna pay me my wages. You're gonna take the 10 or 20% training fee of me not training with the team or whatever it happens to be. If there is something like that, I'm not gonna play. So like, as if I were a player of Liverpool, if I was management, seeing his behavior, I would just be like, maybe I don't want him, because if he's going to behave like this for a move from Newcastle to Liverpool, how is he going to behave if another club comes along and is like, hey, we want you? Or is he going to do the same thing to us where, oh yeah, we're going to have him pay a penalty fee that's probably like 10 or 20% of his paycheck, for not playing in a game or not participating in training? I wouldn't want that. I would not want to be a part of the locker room talk on that. I would just be like, yeah, no, get me out of here. If you're going to bring in a toxic player, that's just going to make this more toxic.
I think obviously an interesting thing you said there was obviously they've kind of overspent, and I kind of agree a little bit. When you look at they spent over 210 million on 2 attackers, that's a lot of money, isn't it? It's a lot of money. And when you spend 210 million on 2 attackers, you're basically expecting at least 50 goals between the pair of them, isn't you? At the very least, if I'm being totally honest. I think the biggest thing with Isak is his availability. Will he stay fit for the whole season? I think it's proven in the past that he can. He has got them injury concerns. I do think though that this does, in my opinion, it does make Liverpool favourites. Of course, they should be favourites. They won the Premier League last year at Kanto, for being totally honest. They've gone and spent the money this time round. Why shouldn't they be favourites? Look, I'm not really going to go into the performance yesterday, but I do think though, if Liverpool don't get the Guahi deal over the line, then there is that piece of that defensive frailties could be exposed throughout the season. But if they do get Guahi in, I think the squad's pretty much there to kind of hit all fronts. And I think it's showing intent, if I'm being totally honest. Not saying that what Isak's done is right, because it totally ain't, but it is showing intent. And actually, I think personally that Liverpool should be expecting more silverware with the investment they've made, and it's going to be an interesting season with them because, like you say, you bring Isak and you bring another striker in. Does that upset the other striker if they can't accommodate them both in the same team? I just think it'd be interesting to see how Slot manages that over the next couple of months.
With Isak, though, Liam, like, just because I'm quite controversial on this whole point, is for about 2 seasons, most of the Arsenal fan base were absolutely wetting themselves to have Isak in before he behaved the way he did. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, so that's why for me it's an absolute brilliant signing and makes Liverpool absolute title favourites for me. Because just because he's behaved the way he has, which is wrong, we all still know what he can do. So, like, I'm not on the film saying, "Oh, I wouldn't want him at my club." Are you telling me if you wouldn't want Isak banging in the goals that he done for Newcastle? I just think I'm just not buying that personally. Do I think he's worth 130 million? No, but he's still probably one of the best strikers, or if not the best striker in the Premier League for me. Like, and I know some people will disagree with that because with Gyökeres being there, but I'm just going on what we've seen. But just because he's behaved in that way, it still doesn't take his talent away, and I think that's what. And I think everyone's hating on it because it's Liverpool. If this was Arsenal doing this today, it'd be a completely different story.
See, I think even if Isak was playing these games and he was going to be coming to Arsenal, I would still be hesitant because it's just the behavior. Like in any work environment, I would not want to have someone that's coming in and being like, I just did the bare minimum. I showed up to a training pitch. I showed up to a desk at the office. Was I next to anyone on my team? No. Was I next to anyone on a future team? No. I was just existing, doing the bare minimum work to say that I am still fit, that I can still do my job.
Yeah. But what if let's twist that. And so what if he has been promised that he was allowed to leave and then they've gone back on that more than once? Like, so I know Isak and his agent are getting all the abuse, but if Newcastle have said, yeah, if a big club comes into him, you can go, and maybe Isak thinks that's his last chance of going to a big club, because there's nothing to say that, like, we all know he could go and get injured or do a hamstring or whatever, but I don't know. Like, how do we know Newcastle have not broke their promise?
And I think we only really see the one side of the story, which is
That's what I mean. I'm not. Don't get me wrong.
Still, like, I'm thinking about my professional work environment. Like, even if I'm moving teams, moving from one finance team to a different one, I'm still going to do my job. I'm still going to put in the work, even if I was told by my boss that, hey, and potentially my new one, that, hey, yeah, this is guaranteed. We just have to go through, the legal jump holes type things, or the HR jump holes, like loopholes, whatever it is. Like, hey, this is guaranteed. I'm still going to be doing my job for my current team. I'm not going to be sitting on the bench and being like, yeah, you guys can figure this out. I don't care what happens now. That's on you.
I just think it's player power generally, because, like, let's be honest, it's not just Isak, is it? Like, if we're calling people out for doing what they've done, like, I think Yoane Wissa is nearly as bad as Alexander Isak, like making like a 3 or 4 page statement so he could get his move, funny enough, to Newcastle today. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, I think for player power, I think these moves are probably the worst thing that could have ever happened, because, like, now there's no thing, is there? There's nothing there to say, well, if you signed a deal, that's it. Like, if players want to leave, they'll just do whatever they want to leave. But what I'm trying to say is that if some of these clubs, like Newcastle, like Brentford, have promised them the earth, and they've said, "Oh, can you stay one more year, and then we'll guarantee we'll let you go," I don't know what you think, Ryan or Leo, but it's just I think it's difficult. We're only seeing like the Isak's and Arsehole, but what? Surely the clubs are a bit guilty in this as well.
But this is the thing also, because we had this. Just touch. Sorry, before to bring Liam in, we had a situation with obviously Yokeres also for most of our summer.
Yeah.
Obviously, him and his agent come out and said that no, these are promises made. You've gone back on them, but they had legal. Like, it wasn't a word thing, a verbal thing. It was a legal, like in writing the contract.
Because it's similar, really. If you really want to, if you want to.
From what we're hearing in terms of Isak and Weza, they're saying it was a verbal agreement, wasn't written and all that. So that's where, if that's the case, you've got to learn from Harry Kane. For fuck's sake, come on! Like Harry Kane, that lesson at Tottenham, he could have been at City the year before Haaland came along, but he took he got screwed over by the verbal side of things. And this is where Gyökeres had a leg to stand on. Like legally, him and his agent were threatening to go to the courts to sue Sporting Director because he was going back on his word, obviously, in all that drama. And that's why Gyökeres in the end didn't drag out the way this has, because it's all well and good going publicly. Oh, I've been promised this, I've been promised that. Then it turns out, they were promised it, but it was verbal. It's verbally by people that are no longer at the club. It's like you get it written down, and even if the person that signed it is moved on, it's still there written in law, and you're covered. Then you can then speed up the process. And you don't make yourself look like a complete, and that'll see you next Tuesday as well. But also breaking news from, again, David Ornstein. Man City are getting closer with Donnarumma. Any moment now, it will be announced that he is a Man City goalkeeper.
Is that a comment in the chat a joke? Or is it someone winding up Sterling to QPR? Surely that ain't happened.
Yeah, that's just Gav.
Oh, right. I was going to say, wow, no offence, but that would have been a good signing for QPR.
Well, I think personally, yeah, right. I don't know what other.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. Yeah, he's having his medical. He's serving his medical. Still waiting for the official announcement.
So basically,
don't say it.
Arsenal are fucked.
Not really.
And Tottenham actually have one of the best front three in the league now.
Let's see these players that are coming in from abroad, especially this lad. If they adapt to the Premier League, because Premier League's different to fucking bloody League One. We found that one. We found that one out the hard way.
He played at Juventus last year.
And it's still, in terms of, you still get time and space on the ball. Whereas in Premier League, look at Pepe. Pepe found that the hard way. He came from bloody League One in the first place. And
Xavi Simons, fucking Colin.
Well, we'll see. We will see, won't we?
So that means I'm now having to put in Xavi Simons and Colin Moani into my team. Into my FPL. That's what I'm doing.
All right.
Anyway, probably
I'm not sure if you're
I don't know if you heard Mark Gay could be off. They initially agreed the fee. He said he's medical, but because Palace now, the replacement they had in mind, is gone off to West Ham instead. They're now panicking and they can't get him. They basically told him, hold fire. You may just stay for another few more months.
I'm not sure if he's supposed to be live. We're hearing his whole conversation here.
I was like, what the hell's going on?
We've got a whole phone conversation here on the transfers. I think I'm going to.
I think he's meant to be keeping that private.
I'm taking him off for the moment. We can hear him still. What's going on here?
I'll be down soon anyway. Do your dinner, so.
You only get this on the Mr. Arsenal podcast.
You don't get that on Sky Sports News, guys. Tell you.
No.
Exactly. I think from a personal perspective myself, like I think with Isak, I think my worry is that actually it's more to the point, where do I see Liverpool losing games? And like I'm looking at the way they're strengthening now, and I'm thinking, do you know what? I think it's definitely going to be a 90-point season above to win the Premier League this year again. Because I just look at the squad and I just think that even if they don't buy Gueye, they've got enough attacking players to outscore teams most games. And look, yesterday was a little bit different because I think we're one of the only teams that can go there and kind of stifle them. But I'm looking at the other teams and I'm thinking, where are they going to drop the results? Where are they massively going to drop the results? And this is the piece now where we're going to have to show some consistency probably over the next 3 to 4 months at least to see where Liverpool go. But yeah, I just think that this signing is going to take that Premier League.
Like in Champions, I think it elevates them, especially in the Champions League again. Like we said, like Ekitike, they've got Isak. They've we're talking about all these players they've brought in. They've still got one of the best ever Premier League players in Mo Salah. Like, I know people that hate him and don't like him, but you can't argue with the facts. Like they've still got him. I think you're right, Liam. Like defensively, they will concede, but I think we said at the start of the season, most games they'll score more than and the goals and the attack play will get them out of that trouble with the goals that they're conceded.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I was just one of those fans really wanting Newcastle to hold out, just because I think for football generally it would have been the best thing that could have happened. Because like we said, like now any player can say, "Oh, I'm leaving," or "I don't want to play anymore," and then just throw the toys out of the pram and not do it. Like at the end of the day, like if you really wanted to be like super analysing it, Sporting could say Gyökeres done that. Not to the same level. Not to the same level, obviously, as Isak and Whistler, but it's still in that bracket. It's still player power. Having two, and I just think it's too much power for a player to be able to dictate what they do and what their club does. Like, let's be honest, if any of us done that in our job, we'd be gone, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but it's a totally different ball game, isn't it? Like we all knew the final outcome. Yeah, we all knew that he weren't going to stay at Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? He weren't welcome at Newcastle whatsoever. I don't know. I just think that at the end of the day, that they were always going to sign him. It will elevate them. It will get him, in my opinion, around 90, at least around 90 points. Just for the fact that I don't see many teams kind of, especially stopping them at home. Most teams are going to go there now, absolute ultra defensive. Do you know what I mean? It's already going to be in the back of teams' minds. Oh, we're going to Anfield. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you're going to beat Liverpool this year, you've got to be massively consistent. And one thing that for us, we're going to need to be consistent this year. And like, it's the games at Newcastle, do you know what I mean? It's going to kind of determine us where we kind of elevate ourselves this year.
And they've got the luck. They've got the luck of champions as well, mate. Like that. That's the. You know
they have, but at the same time, I believe that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That they've had the consistency, and they kept their players fit last year. But they're winning playing ugly, and that's what you have to do.
Yeah, what I mean, with the Newcastle game, that's what they can do. Yeah, and
they won ugly, didn't they?
Yeah,
they won ugly.
And that's without Isak and I just think like most of our there was a few that said they always wanted Victor Gyökeres, but there was the majority of the Arsenal fan base wanted Alexander Isak. Like the amount of conversations in the pub before. Is, you know what I mean? That player hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is people have seen what his attitude is to get what he wants. And I think that gets forgotten a little bit because everyone's like, "Oh, I don't want him at the club because he behaves like this." But he's still. We wanted him before he threw his toys out the pram, and I think that there was even people when we signed Gyökeres in the Twitter group, Liam, saying we should go for him still. And I think that gets forgotten as well. And I believe me, I hope we do catch Liverpool because I can't stand Liverpool. But we'll come on to that later. But I think you just have to be realistic and just say it as it is. To be honest.
Yep, I totally agree. I think we'll move on from Isak.
I've had to add the whole summer to deal with it. This about Isak. I'll
tell you an interesting one, Mr. Emery. I see big problems at Aston Villa at the moment. I see massive big problems at Aston Villa. I look at they're getting Jadon Sancho in, they're getting Lindelof in.
They've got Harvey
It just
Elliott
seems
as well,
like panic signings.
apparently.
Yeah, it just seems panic signings to me. I think the Harvey Elliott one's going to be an interesting one because he's always been in that Liverpool Wester, where now he's going to be like probably going to a team where actually he's going to have to prove himself on his own ability and his own merit. I'm going to go to you first on this one, Catherine. In terms of it, and in terms of the Emre situation at the moment, like. Yesterday, I thought that like there was a feeling amongst the crowd that there's a bit of discomfort there, and I think it's been a really bad window, isn't it, for Aston Villa at the moment? Obviously, the Martinez situation, and you see what's going on in terms of players that probably I don't believe want to be there anymore, like the Watkins of this world. I think potentially in January that would have like in terms of the Arsenal kind of bid and what happened there, and probably his dream going away that he weren't going to play for Arsenal. I'm not sure everything's rosy there whatsoever, and they're sitting 19th in the league.
Yeah,
as well.
I just had a look at that. They have 1 point. They drew match day 1. 2 losses. They've lost. I wouldn't even say that they've lost players. I mean, it's like the dressing room's lost. To say, I mean, I think that's the best way to say it. I mean. Martinez, last game of the season, he got a red card, so he's guaranteed not to be starting the season. But the way that he walked off the pitch was, I'm going to cry, I'm saying my farewell to everyone. Deal's still not done. He's still not going anywhere. So now you have a player that was expected to leave this summer, likely going to be staying. I haven't seen any recent links of him leaving the club. And the transfers that they've brought in, in the past 24 hours, as you said, panic. It's panic buying, panic loans. It's going to be interesting for Villa. If they keep on the same trajectory, they're going to be relegated. But I think it's more to it. I mean, Arsenal went in for Watkins in January and lowballed Villa. Villa was like, nah, we won't take the money, even though we know we have the PSR rules that we're probably still going to be in breach in. And now all we see is them getting rid of players, but it seems to be not getting rid of the right players to help mitigate whatever financial issues that they have. And then they're bringing in players in a panic, it seems. It's to rate their window, I would give them a solid D. They haven't failed. They have brought in some players. They've brought in some players and they've gotten rid of some. But I mean, D, that's still failing. You didn't pass the class. You're not going to pass the season. You might scrape by, depending on how West Ham performs for the remainder of the season as well. You could be looking at a true relegation battle between 5 teams.
It is an interesting one, isn't it? Like we've experienced the Emre situation before personally when things are not going right, and how that can kind of dip. And I've got to be honest with you, Ryan. His interview yesterday before the game about the goalkeeper, mate. He just told me there was a man there yet again, and I said this when he was at Arsenal. Becomes very kind of clueless to the situation as such, and I thought it was a bit of an embarrassing interview, if I'm being totally honest. Just to repeat the goalkeeper's name, I thought he was a bit disrespectful as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Again, I didn't want to go. As I said, I went out and went about my business basically after the Arsenal loss and all that. So I went out, tried to enjoy my night and all that. Got back and I went put Sky Sports News on and I saw what you're on about. And I was like, he's losing it. He's actually losing it. And yeah, it's come a couple of seasons late, not a season late to when we got it, but he's losing the plot. And like Catherine says, like back end, last time going to the season, Emre Martinez is in tears. He's talking to the fans goodbye and all that because there's rumours of Saudi Arabia coming in. United are interested. Tottenham are interested. If we'd gone to Tottenham, he would have been lynched. But anyway, and even to the point last night when the news came out about the bid that the bid's gone in from Manchester United for Martinez, and he wasn't in the match day squad at all, I was convinced he was going. Until obviously the news came out this morning, I was convinced he was going. But the way he reacted, he could have done it in so many other ways. But just repeat the new guy's name over and over again before the game. It's like you're pissed. I understand you're pissed, but yet again, you're not reading them what you're looking at. You come across a bit crackers, and again with FFP and all, not FFP, but the PSR rules and all that. You're in a situation because you didn't get Champions League, because you failed on the last day of the season to beat a piss poor Man United team. You didn't get Champions League football, which means you've had to sell, like Leon Bailey. But then they're not really. Obviously, Rashford's gone back. There was rumours that they wanted to get the guy, what's his name, Asensio, back from PSG for another season on loan. That's not happened so far, as far as I'm aware. And they're breaking, and obviously they put this other goalie in. He's not all, from what I've seen, he's not all that. But not even putting aside last night's performance, he's not all that. It's a massive downgrade, and Villa fans are going to start crapping themselves because now you've got to reintegrate a player that basically didn't want to be there. He's like, oh, I was expected to leave, I wanted to leave, but I'm still here for the sake of it. And it's going to coming next season, it'll be the same. Come May, it'll be the same thing. And so players don't want to be there. It does tell me players don't want to be there. The fact that even Leon Bailey just went, okay, cool, I'm off. Bye. Rashford didn't even beg to come back, and I know he's on Barcelona, but he was desperate for a couple at a time. And they're breaking the neck today to try and get Sancho in, who flattered to see at Chelsea last year after 5 games. I think, like you say, I think this is the season where Villa fans and the world see it wasn't just an Arsenal thing, that Unai Emery has a time span, and sometimes it comes quick, sometimes it doesn't. And this time it's come a year later, and you're going to see the real Unai Emery basically when it comes to the Premier League.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, mate. My faults on Emery at the best of times. Like, I think I'm actually really concerned about Aston Villa. Don't get me wrong, I don't see them going down whatsoever, because I think there's probably worse teams, but I think we might see a really, really bang average season from Aston Villa, because I just look at them signings and they're just panic. Do you know what I mean?
If we're saying, if it's true that what we are saying is actually true, he is starting to lose the dressing room, they could be in a relegation battle. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's just because they're good squads. We've seen good squads have a scrap. They'll just about survive, but depends on if they are in a relegation scrap. How the board react. Will they panic and push the red button and get someone else in, like they did with Gerrard and with Emery, or they try and hope he sees it out? Because the one thing he's never been in, really, is a relegation scrap, a proper scrap, all the way to the bitter end. It'll be interesting. If he has concentration, we're going to find out after the international break, because they've not. Me and Catherine did the match day 1. We did the Villa Newcastle game, and with everything going on at Newcastle was a better team.
Yeah, they looked awful. Yeah, they did actually look totally awful. Didn't Newcastle have something like 8-9 shots? And when we look at Newcastle's at where they were at the time with the Isak situation, you could be bang on. Like this could be a proper moment for Emery. So yeah, let's watch space with that one. Reece Nelson to Brentford seems to be confirmed. We're going to Arsenal.
All right, but on
first,
they're saying it's on Instagram. It is his private Instagram. Like, you cannot access it unless he approves it. So the picture that's been posted with his private Instagram handle of him taking a picture with the Brentford jersey, to me, that's like a violation of personal life, where someone, a part of his personal private Instagram, snagged that picture and said, "Oh yeah, deal done." So, waiting official confirmation from everyone else, but
I think the deal is going to be done. I think it's actually a good move for Reece, to be honest. yet again, I think Brentford are going to be one of them teams that are going to be battling down there this year. Reece needs. I guess I'm going to go to you on this one, George. Reece needs to be playing week in, week out now, don't he? Like he went to Fulham, he weren't playing week in, week out. I've actually got a bit more confidence that going to Brentford, he could play week in, week out. He needs to do it now, don't he? What's he? 26 years of age. He needs to break the barrier, don't he, and get into a team now and play good at least 25 to 30 games. And that's Premier League alone.
I think Brentford's probably like sort of a perfect fit for him. Like obviously, when he was at Fulham last season, he played a few games before he got injured, and he looked alright. But Brentford adds to that attacking play. I think it's good. Like obviously, I think it's a loan deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't think we're getting 30 million from Liam. But if you know, you know. So.
If you know, mate. It's quite interesting that he was flogging the price that I said first of all, 15 million.
But no, do you know what? Good luck to him. Like, obviously, I don't. Like, he gave Arsenal fans a brilliant memories with the Bournemouth winner. Don't like hold anything really against him, but I think we know he's not probably at the level that we want at Arsenal now. But at Brentford, there's nothing to say he can't be involved in double figures for like goals involvement at Brentford. He might help to keep them up because I think, like you say, they'll probably be down. I think they'll be okay. But last time I predicted that they were winning, and then I said West Ham had gone and they won 3-0. So don't listen to me. But yeah, good luck to Reece. And what I kind of respect him for is that he actually does make the effort to go and play some football, not like some other people at our club that we can't seem to get rid of. But you know what I mean? Like he's gone abroad to play on loan. Like he's tried to develop his football career, and he's just been really unfortunate with injuries. So be keeping an eye out for him. Hopefully he can score the winner against Liverpool.
I tell you what is interesting, obviously, with that as well. Obviously, this has gone to Newcastle for £55 million, so that deal's been done. But it's interesting, isn't it? Brentford potentially could have a bit of money to spend in January. I am worried about Brentford this year, if I'm being totally honest. I think that's a big job for Keith Andrew to jump into, first job. And when you start losing your key players, like two of your strikers, Ryan, that's
over
a
100 million
Brentford,
from sales, isn't they? Because of like Burma and Wissa.
Yeah. And who have they brought in?
Reece Nelson.
On loan.
Reece Nelson.
They're screwed. They're screwed.
No,
I can't remember who else they brought in, to be fair. Probably no one. Oh, Jordan Henderson. How can we forget?
Oh, yeah, Jordan Henderson. Yeah, the magnificent Jordan Henderson. That ran off for money and put his mole to one side for money. Anyway, moving on. No, Brentford. I've said all summer with Brentford. Once they announced his name, Keith Andrews, as Thomas Frank's replacement, and the fact that he was the set piece coach, and their set pieces weren't all that last year, one of the worst in the league. But the fact that they've recruited Vinny, so they're going big and upgrading on Thomas Frank, if anything, or trying to match him. That for me was telling me they're doomed for this season. Then they lose, eventually losing Bayman. They've lost Wesley, and they've known all somebody they both wanted to go. Yeah, they're getting Reece in, and I'm happy for Reece because I want him to get the game time and start showing his worth. He started thinking at Fulham last year, until he got his injury, he was showing his worth. He was showing he could contribute, he could play this league at that level and all that. But the injury came along, and that sort of stopped things again. But Brentford ain't done nothing. That's the thing. And it's who they do bring and barring Reece, it's prospects. And you don't want to be 4 or 5 years in your Premier League life as a club. You don't want to be. You shouldn't be hiring your previous manager's set piece coach to replace him, losing your best players, the two remaining out of the original 3 strike force, and not replacing them. And that's what they've allowed.
I don't know if you agree, Ryan. No, I think it shows the board don't fully trust Keith Andrew as well. because like they've gave him the job. Fine, you've given him an opportunity, young manager up and coming, fair play. We'd like to see that, but you've got over 100 and odd million, probably more than that, because obviously they sold Flecken, didn't they? So Leverkusen, but they haven't really backed Keith Andrew. So does that show? What does that show? Does that show they don't fully trust Keith Andrew yet, or does that show that the money's going somewhere else? And if you're not fully trusting Keith Andrew, then why give the man the job? It's not fair on him.
Yeah, exactly. I get that, and I 100% agree with it. Why do it? Why? It's screamed. It still screams cheap and cheerful. They just panicked and thought he's put himself forward. He will do. Instead of, as I say, going to match Thomas Frank, or in terms of the level or upgrade, because the fact that, as you say, the fact they've not really backed him at all, and they're screwing him over week by week in terms of letting him go, don't replace him. You've now let it to the deadline day with Wesley. You've known Wesley's definitely, he kicked up a fuss from end of last season. He wanted to go, no matter where it would be. He wanted to leave Brentford and try new things. And you've let down the deadline day. And you're now leaving your new manager, with a very inexperienced strike force, basically.
Well, that one they brought in, he was replacing Ivan Toney, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, and then got injured for like 12 months. So
yeah. So it's gonna be a very long season of it. I still think they're going down.
Oh, I don't know.
I think they're gone. I think Burnley, Brentford, and West Ham or Wolves.
I think it's between Brentford and West Ham. I've got to stick to my prediction.
So 2 Man United players that are out the door. Rasmus Højlund's gone to Napoli on a loan from Manchester United, and obviously the Anthony deal. The Anthony deal is now done with Real Betis. So that's 2 players that are out the door. And obviously we're waiting for our signing as well. He can
waited all fucking day.
Sign from.
Is it still not happening?
Yeah, from Leverkusen. Another defender in the club.
Also, with 5 minutes left of the window, and still no update since the last update of Mark Gay. No more updates. So good.
But they'll probably apply for that extra time. You know what it's like.
That's if Palace find something in the next 5 minutes, basically.
Yeah.
They've found someone and they're not announced it yet. Maybe, I don't know. But
that Højlund one, that's interesting, Liam. Napoli, Højlund, like obviously they've got McTominay, haven't they?
I think it's a good signing.
Yeah.
I think it's a good signing. I think there's a player in there. If I'm being totally honest, I'm not brought that Højlund's not a good player. I just think that the whole circus around Manchester United has kind of obviously killed him a little bit. I think he'll go to Napoli, and I think he'll do a good job there. And I think he'll be a big player over there. So I'm intrigued to see how that one goes down. Obviously, talking about our signing potentially coming in. You expect that to be kind of announced at some point this evening. Left back, centre back. He's got a wand of a left foot from what I've seen in terms of kind of clips and everything of him and some of the games I have seen Leverkusen play. Just going to go to this one on this, Catherine. Yet again, another option defensively. Does it kind of help us in terms of potentially, is there kind of scope with this one with Eze? With the Eze signing, that they're looking to play a little bit of a different way, and they're looking for a different sort of left back to play in that role.
Yeah, I think so. I think having another more or less proper left back, because Lewis Skelly, he's done great filling in for that role, but that's not his natural position. Calafiore, I think he's technically a center back, but can play left back as well. I mean, just to help bolster that back line, maybe completely change of formation against, a League Two side, in Carabao Cup or FA Cup. But I mean, we can't count all of the teams out as other Premier League sides have been done over by, League Two sides recently. But, I think it gives Arteta the option to change the formation to provide a little bit more dynamic in the squad, rather than, okay, we're going to stick with this starting 11 for all 50 plus games this season. I mean, it's a lot of minutes. So I think what Berta and Arteta have done this season, this transfer window, is just essentially provide a quality second team that can play at a moment's notice kind of thing. But that's pending in the next 3 minutes that all the documents get signed. I mean, the only other big signing outgoing of the Prem is Nico Jackson. Deals are done. He's now at Bayern, which Chelsea have screwed him over in the yo-yo-ness that's been playing there. But I'm sure we'll get on that shortly. But Arsenal side, just waiting for that pen to paper actual announcement. Could get that in the next 2 minutes, or maybe the announcement will happen in 30 to 60 minutes. But as long as the paperwork's signed in the next minute and a half, I'm not upset about another signing, especially if we can get the trust built within the players and the manager to have proper rotation. I mean, limit players' minutes. I mean, I think last year that's kind of what got us done over. Even on the defensive side of things, we had players out injured, and then we had players that were playing too much, and it was too much for their bodies to handle. And by the end of the season, they were like, "Dude, I'm done. My legs are saying it's done." So a little upset. It's another defender, but can't be upset to get some proper rotation thrown in there.
I think the interesting thing with this one is, though, I think there's a reason behind it. I think it has got a lot to do with potentially Eze playing on the left side, and I don't think we have actually got that option, have we? Like, you look at Calafiori, like you said, rightly so. He's a centre back by trade. You know what I mean? He's doing an unbelievable job out there, but he's a centre back by trade. You look at Skelly, he inverts in, so he's not the guy to do the overlap as well. And if Eze is going to cut in and play more like an inside kind of playmaking number 10 kind of player, shall I say, I think the signing makes absolute sense that we're buying someone who's got an engine on him, who can absolutely bomb down that wing, and has got an absolute delivery on him as well, and might give us another dimension in terms of unlocking Gyökeres's game as well. So I think there's a method behind it. I always did expect us personally to buy a left back, which is quite comical because the amount of left backs we did have in the club last year. But I thought when we looked at it, I think that let's be totally honest here. We knew Tierney was going to be out the door. Zinchenko, he's just not good enough. Tomiyasu was never fit, so obviously the right decision was made there. Timber is a right back by trade. So when you look at it, it's a big job and big expectation to expect Skelly to play out there whatsoever. And I think he's done a good job for us. But I think it's the right thing, personally, that we've gone and got a different sort of left back. And I think it will be a different dimension for us. And I'm interested to see how it unlocks Eze, because I think that Eze has been brought in there. Even though I believe he's a number 10, I believe he's going to play in that left wing role, but he's going to play a lot inside. So you'd be an interesting one. Going to go to you on it, George. Do you kind of agree with that, or do you think there's a different reason why we brought this guy
I think
in?
he's an upgrade on Kivior, first of all, and that's not being disrespectful to Kivior, because I think he stepped up massively last season. Yeah. But I think we've had conversations before. It was like when we had players that got us to the top 4, then you move on for them to try and get to that next level. I think he is. I'm not going to pretend I know that much about him, to be honest. But he seems to have done well for Leverkusen. I think what some people might also forget as well. I know it's a big subject about Arteta picking the right players and rotating, but we could even play 3 at the back at one stage, and he's got such a left foot that we need to try and get Gyökeres into the game more, because let's be honest, the midfield are not really getting him into the game, are they? So that could be that long ball over to Gyökeres and he runs on. So I think there's different options. I do like the signing. I like the signing more with it being a loan with the option. Like, so we can see what he's like, and if he might not be what we need, what we want, and then you don't have to necessarily buy him at the end. I think they will, because I think they'll just do what they've done with Raya. But Yeah, I like the signing. We can never have enough defenders, mate. Like we see, like it's Saliba getting injured, so like for however many players we buy, we still seem to get shitloads of injuries. I just with the Eze stuff, I don't understand why you seem to be the only one in the minority with Eze at 10. I Everyone keeps saying about Erdegaard. Why? I don't understand. Like, why not? He's brought players in to rotate. I think Eze at this moment is better number 10 than Erdegaard. I don't think. I think Madueke on that left has proved that's because we ain't getting a left winger now if it's shut. But I think Madueke on that left, if Saka was fit, and I like if everyone was fit and been playing week in, week out, I still think maybe Eze starts yesterday instead of Odegaard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I've said from the outset, Eze's a left, he's a left number 10.
I think he's there to put pressure on Odegaard. Like all this, yeah, he can play. He can play left wing. Like I'm not saying he can't, but I think he's definitely there to put that pressure on to Martin Odegaard.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying that he should play number 10.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why you're one of the only people.
Yeah, what I'm saying is though, the way I see it, when he come on yesterday, he come on at left wing. Do you know what I mean? His first game, he comes on at left wing. Now, I'm on the assumption that we should have a left winger and that he should play left number 10. Personally, I think that's what you're going to see the best out of us. It didn't hurt teams like Palace. And let's be frankly honest, no disrespect to Palace, we've got a far better defence and a far better team than Crystal Palace. So, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't say he's a luxury at number 10 because actually he was performing it in a lesser team. So for me, he should play at number 10 and he should open up the game for players like Saka and Madueke to be able to do their thing. And I'll tell you what, he would give a lot more freedom to players like Saka and Madueke if he plays at number 10 because actually you can't double up on them because you'll leave Eze free.
Yoko's in the game more as well because obviously because he ain't in the game, is he?
I think it's disappointing he didn't come on number 10.
I don't know.
I think it's disappointing he didn't come on there. But I don't know. I just get this feeling, right? And I hope I'm wrong, but I get this feeling that he's going to try and accommodate both Eze and Odegaard in the team. And that's my thinking. I think he is going to try and accommodate them both. Whether that's right or wrong, I think that's down to anyone's side. I'm saying that he should be a left 10. Not a left winger, but I think it'd be interesting to see how he operates in the next couple of months with him because it's a good signing and it's a big signing. He needs to, I think Arteta needs to make the strong decision, and I know what the strong decision is. And it's not in playing left wing personally.
Obviously, we've seen what Eze can do at 10. Like it's not like we've seen one or two pre-season games. Oh yeah, he could do a job there. Do you know what I mean? But we've actually seen him what he can do on the biggest stage in his career. So surely, if we want him to be the best we can this season and rotating, so that Eze and Erdegaard have to be them two that rotate. I don't know. Personally, I don't think it works with both of them in the team. But and
where's that leave one area then?
I'm not sure.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? That's the thing. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because actually, we've kept one area in the squad, which says that, in my opinion, he should have been. In my opinion, he should have been. If he's going to get kept in the squad, he's going to play a lot of game time. If he's going to play a lot of game time, then that's an interesting one in itself.
Unless they change the formation completely and only play one, 6 instead of the Bryce Zubimendi double pivot. One of them drops out and they play Eze/Erdegaard with Ranieri. Yeah,
it is interesting. I'm going to go to Ryan on this one because I'm going to let him kind of digest it a little bit in terms of what he thinks. It's interesting, isn't it? Because like we played 3 number 6 number 8 yesterday, which I'm totally against. I'm absolutely against that 100%. So yeah, it'd be interesting. But he's got different options. That's
we're getting the news on the screen there, but yeah, I get what. That was my main aggravate. The main thing that aggravated me for kickoff. Like Looking at the bench, you had obviously Odegaard. If he's not 100% fit to start, but he can make an impact. Fair enough. He's on the bench. You've got Ethan Wanyeri, he's meant to be Odegaard's backup, and you had obviously Eze, who plays at number 10, who can play number 10 or on the left wing, whatever. You had two other options over at an Odegaard, and for some reason, bizarrely, even though it worked initially, in terms of it gave us a bit more security in the sense of. It wasn't so easy for Liverpool to break through and attack and all that. But when you then bring them on, this is what does my head in. You then brings them on, two of them three on in terms of Eze and Odegaard at the same time. But he didn't change the tactic of let's go and attack now. It was played the same way, but with two attackers now in the midfield instead of three defensive midfielders. But look, I'm buzzing that we got Eze. Got brought him back home, and all that jazz. Got one over them down the road as well. Really pissed them off to the point where their retaliation was brilliant, by the way. That live rent free, but when you've got when we've got Ethan here, who's meant to be the backup to Odegaard this year and provide the competition, there's extra competition. Don't get me wrong, but I think after the international break, it's going to be interesting to see. How Arteta, what's in Arteta's mindset with Eze? Does he see him as a left winger, kicking out Martinelli, and Trossard to the benches respectively, or does he see him as more competition for Odegaard? And like you say, I've got a feeling he's going to try and accommodate both of them to start because obviously you don't spend Obviously, Odegaard's a club captain. He's been there for how many years and all that. Also, you're not going to spend over £60 million on a player to bench him week in, week out. And that's why Arteta's paid the big bucks currently. He needs to make that decision. If he's going to fit them both in the same team, maybe change the formation, maybe change the tactics to be more attacking. Because I'm sorry, at this point, what done my head in yesterday overall was. He behaved with the three DMs in midfield. He behaved like this was the team that he inherited, basically. That wasn't good enough. This team wasn't good enough to do a job. And and like we said earlier in the show's like Eze's been professional. His match fitness is not a problem. He's been training. So fitness side of things wouldn't have been a problem for him to start yesterday. I know he's only been with us. He'd only trained since Monday with his new teammates, but you could have given him quite easily an hour in a number 10, took him off for Odegaard or Ethan, and everyone would have been happy. But as I say, it's going to be interesting after the window because we've got Forest at home, haven't we? And it's going to be interesting to see that game, assuming they both start in terms of Martin and Eze, if it's going to be a newer formation or is he going to throw him out on the left-hand side and have him do and maybe have him cut into the centre, add an extra body in the middle on the attack and have the left-back overlap to do the crossing side of things. Because like someone mentioned in the chat, what's this do for Lewis Kelly? Because we've been playing Ricardo from day one this season. We've been playing Ricardo as a left-back and Lewis Kelly's on the bench. You're now bringing another player in that can play left back and left centre back. Presumably, going by what we're hearing, he's going to play left back. So we put in Ricardo we put Ricardo as a left centre back option for get back up to Gabriel, or is it going to be this new guy, or they both will be left backs? One's going to be one favoured over the other. And what's he do for Lewis Kelly? Is he going to be playing midfield now? There's a lot of questions now. This raises as well.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I don't know. Like even with us buying this guy in, I think the whole reason it's been done with an option is because actually we'll pay it into next year's fees instead of this year's. I think that's the whole reason why it's gone from an obligation to an option. I just think that even with that deal, that's a big, substantial amount of money. That's not. This is the thing with Arteta, isn't it? He doesn't really buy players to sit on the bench. So when he spends that kind of money, you can only imagine that they're coming in there to do a job. I agree with George. I think Eze should play in the number 10 role. I don't think he should play on the left wing personally. Do you know what I mean? I agree that we should have 2 out-and-out wingers. Naturally, you should play there. Whether we're going to get that, I just can't answer that at the moment. Do you know what I mean? I think even more to the point now, we're not going to see it for a while because actually I don't think we're going to see Saka back until October. So at earliest. So you look at it then, you think, well, when's like you would have thought that after Martinelli's kind of performance the other day.
That's a loose
against
word.
Liverpool,
That's a loose
like,
word. Performance.
Exactly. He ain't going to be in the team, is he, next? He ain't going to be in the team against Forest. So who is going to be in the team against Forest? Well, Madueke is going to play right wing. So the only thing I see is Eze playing on the left at the moment.
Someone said in the chat, what about Erdegaard on the left wing?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
I
Who said
Yeah.
that?
don't know, but
Who said
that could be a Chris Jericho moment.
Yeah, that's BX Gunner trying to get a few little rods out of me there, mate, I reckon.
Apparently,
Definitely
a
getting
deal
a few
sheet
rods,
went through for Mark Gay.
I've been checking for Bitcher and David Ornstein. They've not said nothing yet.
I don't really. Oh,
I think
Fabrication
that deal's
Romano.
It was another journalist from
Because
the Athletic.
the defender Palace have brought in is a 19-year-old. I hardly doubt the 19-year-old defender they just brought from Ligue 1 is going to be Mark Gay's replacement. So, unless there's something else to pull out the bag, they haven't.
I know it's not about players. Did you guys see Ten Hag got sacked?
Yeah, 2 games in.
Yeah.
2 games in.
4 games in.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think Ten Hag's problem though is that he let go like 8 players.
Not really brought anyone in.
Didn't really bring in any replacements, so you're playing with the backups.
They got definitely a lot of money.
Didn't
Like
make sense.
they got about 170 odd million off of Liverpool, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just breaking. Mark Gay, Miguel Delaney's confirming the deal sheet for Mark Gay.
So he is going to Liverpool.
It's a 2-hour extension. They've got till 9 o'clock to get the deal over the line, basically.
Yeah,
Deal's happening.
So that must mean Palace have
happening.
got someone.
Why is-
Palace,
Yeah, you would have thought so.
it can't be this kid.
Like
It
you
cannot
said,
be this kid.
You can't be a 19-year-old kid to be
It can't.
thrown
If it's
into a
this
Premier
kid,
League at centre
he will.
back.
I'm telling you now, he will walk.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. We'll cover that on the old North Bank Summit show later on because we'll have the additional half hour there potentially to kind of blow that in. I'm going to kind of finish the show very soon. But what I'm going to do is obviously Catherine's hit a good one. Raheem Sterling still remains at Chelsea after a deadline.
Right, Gav.
To let you know, Gav, how much you paying for him at the moment, pal?
I'd
I'd like to know. What's his wages at the moment that you're paying for him?
300K a week. Actually, it's
350,
over
I think it was.
300K a week.
ouch.
I don't know the site that I
Did
seen it from
did Jackson
said
go
over
in the end?
300,000 a week.
Yeah, it's gone through.
Yeah, Jackson. It was maybe 15 minutes before the deadline. They were like, "Yeah, so
Where
Nico
are you,
Jackson
Gav?
is going to be staying at Bayern."
That was so
You know, deal done there. I don't know if it is the initial loan or if it is
He'll probably
actual.
get a game over Raheem. Raheem the Dream. Gav.
Maybe.
Here he is, 350k. Well, I tell you what, right? Raheem Sterling's got the perfect job, isn't he? The best job in the world. He sits there, does nothing, gets 350k.
The best thing is we only paid
Yeah.
100k of it last year. 250 came from Chelsea.
5 seconds to Raheem Sterling.
But I want to say this as well. For your Odegaard comment,
You just made the list!
Mate, that's absolute brilliant. I'll tell you one transfer that has gone under the total radar, and it's a bit of a shocker, really, weren't it? Considering how big he was bigged up quite a few years ago. Tariq Lamptey, 6 million to Fiorentina.
Yeah, because he was linked with Chelsea, wasn't he? Like he was going to be the next best wing back. Well, it's hard. Everyone at Chelsea and Brighton, they might as well just share a ground, to be honest. But it was a bit weird. He had that bad injury, didn't he? I think that held him back quite a lot. But He played like over 150 games for
Yeah.
Brighton, so
Oh, here we go. Scotty's in the house, nibbling away as usual. Nibbling away.
Before we go, do you want to
Still
talk about
probably-
Forest and Edu and what the inferno he's caused in a matter of a couple of months? That Espirito Santo could be walking any day, basically.
Well, he's got to walk any day, innit?
It's mental. Like the harmony that place had last year at Forest. Edu's walked through the door 5 minutes. He's caused an absolute inferno. Apparently he said something personal insult towards Nuno. Won't apologise. The owner's not getting involved. He's hands off.
to be fair,
the-
didn't the owner like have it out with Nuno on the pitch last season though? As well.
We saw it as that. But
Was that like the
Yeah.
last
It
game?
was
I don't think
Yeah.
that owner's innocent. To be honest.
it was second
No.
to last game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It came because they got
There's a-
injured and all that.
There's a question for Bex Conatia. Will an Odegaard have a better IQ in the final third over Martinelli?
Mate, I've got a better
Hopefully,
IQ than
yes.
Martinelli.
Creatively, yes, but he ain't got the build for a winger.
I'd rather. Yeah.
Here's a good one from Luke. Interesting. Why didn't they send Sterling to
Yeah.
Strasbourg? That's an interesting one. Ben Chilwell, isn't it?
Or West Ham.
Sending
Why
him
not
to
send him to West Ham?
Strasbourg. Interesting. Yeah.
He probably still
Vieira's
wanted high
done it.
wages.
Well,
Couldn't get anything
Chelsea are
done
happy to pay
there.
their wages last year. We
Are
only
all
we only paid
the
100 for it.
windows shut now? Like even abroad.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
the only windows that are left still open are the women's windows. which are-
Scotland.
I don't
Friendly
even want
days.
Raheem Sterling for the women.
But
Mate, you know.
the Scottish window closes at 10 p.m. tonight.
I
Apart
don't
from
know.
that,
What about Raheem Sterling to Rangers for Rosie?
I should have loved that. Perfect, actually. Right,
He's on the amount of wages as most of that team costs.
Would be an upgrade as well. Let's be honest.
I know. But that's mad. If he's stuck there, well, probably till January or whenever, he's got the best job in the world, isn't he? Can watch his son play at the best youth academy in the world and then take all the money out of Chelsea. It's good.
All right, so here you go for the Jackson deal. 14.2 million loan fee and an obligation of 56.2
For
mil.
Jackson.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Scotland Yard should be in charge of that one.
Yeah,
Oh, there's G. Turkey is still open until Thursday, so
Oh,
Ederson could be gone.
So
Thursday.
Sterling could still.
But
Stay.
I mean, that's another thing that we haven't heard yet. Donnarumma,
Yeah.
that's
That's
been
what I'm saying.
silent.
there's
Yeah,
got to be
that's
deal
definitely
sheets that have been
happening,
put in place until 9 o'clock tonight.
It's City as well, remember.
I think
Lokman from Atalanta, that deal to Bayern got canceled.
He ain't had,
I think
he ain't had
the
much,
player that
he ain't had
Arsenal
much
was
luck,
looking
Lookman,
to.
this summer, has he? Like, he was just about to sign for Inter Milan and that got cancelled. Then he was linked, obviously, with like some Premier League clubs. That didn't happen. Then Bayern did say, he's probably like, let me leave. Just
Yeah, Rodrigo looks like he's staying at Real Madrid. That was the other big player that we were
till
linked with.
January.
Oh yeah. But on that note,
Oh, here we go. Are we getting excited now? Sinchenko could still leave.
Turkey, maybe.
Oh, right to
Maybe.
Turkey.
Or Saudi, because I think Saudi's still open actually. Is Saudi still open? The window?
I would easily take a 35 million bid from Saudi for Zinchenko.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Fabio Vieira is confirmed to
Cool.
be gone.
have we sold him?
He's put the pen to paper. And
But yeah,
everything.
Leon,
Is that a loan or?
I'm not going to
permanent?
mention. Yeah, I'm not going to mention the name, but a massive shout out to
I
the
think
absolute
permanent.
moron that we both know that back in May he bought an Arsenal home shirt and customized it to have Rodrigo 10 on the back.
Oh, I've heard about who this is. So yeah,
I'm not
That's
giving
not-
him.
No,
I'm
no.
not giving the person the
That is
coverage,
an
but
absolute
you-
horror, that is.
but I know who it is.
Plonker.
Yeah.
you plonker. What a waste of money that was.
Is Vieira gone on a permanent?
I don't know.
No,
It's not,
I
I'm
don't
waiting
think
for
it's is it
Arsenal
a
to
loan deal
confirm
with
it.
Vieira or-
I think it's permanent. I can't tell what it is or what it isn't.
Again, I'm still waiting.
It's just that he's put pen to paper. He's signed.
what's this? A loan obligation?
That might be Fabio.
Oh, I think she's talking about Vieira.
Gav wants me to talk about Jackson.
You almost
Mate,
fucked that
he
up, dude.
said he
Sorry,
passed away
you
in
almost screwed
2010.
that up.
Pardon?
Chelsea almost screwed that up. Delap gets it. Well, Jackson goes out to Bayern to complete his medical, sign all the paperwork for the loan. What happens less than 2 hours later, I think? Liam Delap gets injured. Hey, we're going to be recalling your loan. We're going to cancel that loan. And then 24 hours later, oh, yeah, you're fine. You can stay in Germany. Even though you didn't want to come back anyway. You can stay over
So
there.
the deal sheet. This is.
To be fair, though, they doubled their pay, though, didn't they?
I've got the list of deal sheets waiting to go through for outgoings and incomings. Obviously, Jackson in terms of officially to Bayern, Layman's to Man United, the goalkeeper, Sancho to Villa. Obviously, Mark Go, you mentioned already, Donnarumma, Edison, our new lad, I can't remember his name, but our new lad that we're looking to bring in, Kolo Banani from PSG to Tottenham, Gundogan.
I laugh if that fell through.
Solomon to Palace, Kevin, I thought that's done. George, Kevin, what's his name? George from Chelsea to Fulham. What was done, but okay.
Yeah, it's one of the youngsters. I think it was apparently it's for like 20-odd million as well, which is ridiculous.
But Bakawa to Forest, Traore to Sunderland, Wesley to Newcastle, Diassi to West Ham, Nelson's not gone. Obviously, that's been waiting to go through. Wilson to Leeds. Rowe, whatever you pronounce his fucking name, to Everton, Kivior to Porto, Lokonga, that's been confirmed. I don't know why that's a deal sheet been extended. Even Arsenal confirmed that. Kanji to Inter.
That's basically done.
Yeah, Brownhill to
Wolves,
Lafana to Celtic, O'Reilly to Marseille, and again, Chilwell's done, so I don't know what's on the list, but yeah. But we've got a few.
Pen to paper, maybe for Chilwell. I mean, it is parent company to parent or parent company to child.
It's Chelsea A to Chelsea B, basically.
Yeah.
They always seem to do well, Chelsea, don't they, in terms of transfer fees?
Well, even better when they sell it to themselves, or the women's team to themselves.
Yeah.
It works wonders.
It's an interesting one with the Jackson one, isn't it? Like all that, the lap got injured and they've kicked off all that fuss, but still so.
And then they bought the one back from Sunderland, didn't they? Is it Mark Gui or something? That's
It's going to be quite interesting in terms of seeing what will happen with Chelsea over the next few months, because the lap injury is not ideal for them whatsoever. You never know; they might have Sterling up front.
He can play through the middle, can't he?
Give him the captains.
Honestly, if you're paying $350K a week for him, at least use them. Throw him in the squad at least once.
There's no way he's paying that squad.
Mudryk still there, or did they terminate him?
Oh, he's still there. He's still there.
Nah, he's still there.
He's still there, but he's banned.
No. Basically, what it is, they haven't publicly come. Even though we all know, everyone and their mums, dads, and dogs knows he failed the second test, like the drugs test or whatever. We all know that. Publicly, he's never come out in terms of officially, but they're sort of it's there. But he's like they're pretending he's not there, but he's there.
Yeah,
he's just lurking in the background. There's a reason why he lost his number 10. He's number 10 to Cole Palmer. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to end the show there. That's pretty much it for the transfer window. Obviously, we will be back at 8:30, so we will see if any further announcements do get updated. Obviously, do you want to thank Catherine, George, and Ryan for coming on the show this evening?
Cheers, mate.
Good to have you on. It was good to get through another transfer window. And hopefully we'll get to hear our signing very soon.
Wait long
another
enough.
defender, which is good to hear. Exactly that. But obviously, we'll see you at 8:30, guys, for the North Bank Summit show. Until then, have a good rest of the evening.
You as well.